Okay, so it is March 29th. We're coming into the close of an amazing month. We have so many people on the Success Club boards, the leaderboards, and you guys should be super proud of the month that you're in and how you're absolutely rocking it. I wanted to remind you guys that we have big news. We announced it last week. We have Chris Downing coming to Boston. So for you local coaches, on May 6th. It's a Sunday, and the event's going to be unlike anything he's done before. So Candace Talbot and I are planning it out. He's coming to town, and it's going to be, I don't know if you guys have worked out with him, but like his workout is almost like being in a personal development seminar. I have never experienced anything like it. Like, he opened my mind and my heart in ways I couldn't have even imagined just through his workout, let alone his personal development stuff that he does. And he is doing an entire personal development seminar at this Sunday event. But the cool thing is, we're not announcing it to the public like this, but Candace and I, along with help from Chris, we are going to do a live business opportunity presentation. So this is an awesome event, like the event to get your prospects to, because it's going to show them like the spirit and the power and the community of Beachbody, but we're also going to go into a live business opportunity presentation that we're putting together that is designed to convert people, to get people ready to go and buy and get started with us as coaches. So please take advantage of that event, and we have people flying in for it. So it's not limited to our local Boston folk. And make sure you get tickets because they are selling out super fast. Like we went through VIP within the first 48 hours, sold 150, I think, in the first day, and we're powering through the regular tickets. So tonight I am so excited to announce our special guest. And she's someone that I have been watching over the last year as she's very quickly budding in this business. It's amazing watching her business, her team, and her leadership bloom the way it has. And I told you guys, Moira is celebrating officially locking in Superstar Diamond today, which you guys know is such a huge accomplishment and such a testament to her as a leader, because it's something that is a team effort, and her team obviously is running with her, which is what we all dream of. We want the duplication. She's also, I'm sure you guys saw this on the leaderboard, she landed as number 5 in the entire company, and Success Club 10 legend, executive leader, which for those who don't know, that's the highest rung on the leadership ladder, 2-time elite. She's a member of CAB, and I know you guys know what CAB is. Christina was on there, my success partner. But CAB is such one of those things that, like, you don't get to choose if you just push really hard to get it. You are selected to be on CAB, and there are only 8 members of CAB at a time, and it's a very prestigious honor because they respect Beachbody corporate, respects you enough to bring you in to help them almost like consult on what we should be doing as a network. So we are lucky enough to have her here tonight, and I have my notebook ready, and we are super pumped to have you and grateful to have you here with us. And please enlighten us. Like, first of all, Moira, how long have you been a coach? Is it like 2.5 years? Is that right?
Let me unmute. Sorry. I started coaching in July of 2015. Yeah.
Amazing. So this is going to be a wake-up call for a lot of us. For those of us who've been around the block for a while and need to like kick it into high gear again. And for those of us who are newer to the business thinking like, oh, it just like, I can't do it, or it isn't the way it used to be, like, all excuses are going out the window with tonight's call. So Moira, I'm going to pass it over to you. Put you in the spotlight video that everyone hates when I do to them.
It got really big.
And I'm going to mute myself, but if you have any questions for me, just shout them out to me.
Awesome. You guys, it's such an honor to be here. It's an honor to be asked to speak on any call, but it's a huge honor to be asked to speak on this call, truly. You guys have such an amazing leader, and you're just so blessed. And I already see like lots of faces and names that I know and I recognize, which is really fun. When you say all those things, I'm just sitting here like I'm hearing you announce someone else. Like it's so ridiculous to me to even begin to wrap my head around those titles, because I'm just a girl. and that's like what I always think about when I hear the National Wake Up Call. When I hear these stories of massive success, but I hear people's hearts and stories, I always sit there with a huge smile on my face, and I always think, she's just a girl or a guy, like they're just a person that decided to go for it. And nothing that I came here with nothing. Like I didn't come here with any special powers. I didn't come here with any certain personality. I certainly wasn't like as comfortable as I am now doing a call like this. I mean, if you saw some of my beginning YouTube videos, I was like slouched down, like the only thing that moved was my mouth, and like I thought I was really good. I was like, it's so embarrassing to look back on those videos from literally a year and a half ago. And so the way you get good in this business is by taking action, is by doing. The way you get good at inviting is inviting a crap ton of people. The way you get good at recruiting coaches is by trying to recruit a ton of coaches. The way you get better at being on video or speaking is by doing it. Like we can't book learn any of this. Like we have to do. And this business is a business of action. And mastering your mindset, I think, is what it comes down to. It's really working on your mindset behind all of it. We can give you, like, we all have the same stuff. Like we all have the same amazing trainings. We all have great leadership. We have all the tools, all the scripts, all the onboarding processes. Like now that I'm kind of in more of these elite circles, and I've been around for 2-3 years, I realized that there is no secret GSR call. There is no secret sauce, coach quick start. There is no secret anything, like anything. What is really behind this is your heart to help other people, your energy and your passion. And if you lose that as a leader or as a coach, you just aren't going to go that far. And so we really have to work on our own personal journey always and lead from the front. And, one of the things that even last year at Summit, I think I was, maybe a 7-star diamond coach. And I was in that place where I was like fearing leadership, or feeling the pressure of like, oh my gosh, I have to lead and I'm terrified. How do I do that? And I have no idea where I heard it or who said it, but I remember the light bulb of somebody saying, the only thing a good leader does is they lead from the front, meaning you're doing all the things, you're inviting, you're doing your power hours, you're doing your vital behaviors, you're inviting, you're recruiting, you're doing all the things we need to do, which I was doing. But then you simply turn around and you tell your team exactly what you did. And you just share with them. And instead of teaching and preaching, it's more, let me just show you. Let me just show you the invite I just sent. Let me just show you, let me send you the recording of the GSR I just did. Let me tell you about what my day looked like. I dropped my kids off at school. I listened to PD on the way home. I came home at 9:30. I sat down for a power hour. At 10:30, I got up and made breakfast and checked in with 2 of my diamond coaches. At 11 o'clock, I got on the National Wake Up Call. At 12 o'clock, I got on my mastermind call and I took some, you literally tell them exactly what you're doing. And I wasn't necessarily doing that. And that was a shift for me and realizing like that's all leadership is. And so what I really want to talk to you guys tonight about is mastering your mindset, because that's like my jam. But I don't want it to be just this personal development, inspirational talk. It's mastering your mindset around very specific things like inviting customers, inviting coaches, what your limiting beliefs in this business might be, and just shifting your mindset around those things. So before I get started, will you guys put in the chat what rank you are, whether you're coach, emerald, diamond, star diamond? I'm just always curious as to who my audience is. I would just love to see that as I get started. Awesome, you guys. Oh my gosh, we got some serious diamonds and lifetime star diamonds in there. That's amazing. Awesome. Okay. So, this may speak directly to you, or it may be a good message for you to take back as leaders to your team. But I think the most important thing is, what is this mindset behind inviting customers? And for me, I was a coach for 3 months. I always say I started coaching in July because I started coaching in July. my coach actually called me today. She's like, it's your 3-year anniversary. And I was like, it is? But I started coaching in July. I signed up as a coach right around now. And I didn't do anything for 3 months or 4 months because I just had my pinky toe in the water. I was wrapped up in massive amounts of fear of what anyone was going to think of me if I was going to be a Beachbody coach, and no one was ever going to know. Like, that was just not okay. And so I was wrapped up in all this fear. And, you know, the more I was in these kind of coach waters, the more I was drawn into the opportunity and drawn into the community. And it spoke to me and it pulled at my heartstrings about, you know, this was everything I ever wanted to do in my life. It was right in front of me. I was just scared to death about what other people were going to think. And so I had to make a decision. And Tony Robbins always says, your destiny is shaped in your moments of decision. And I made a decision one night on July 6th. I got on a team call. I didn't know what a team call was. And I clicked on a link one night and I was sitting on the couch and all these people popped up on the screen. I was like, oh God, what's happening? Can they see me? And just so happened that Josh Spencer was guest speaking on Amy Silverman's call. I didn't know who Josh was. He was just some cute guy. And I guess cute enough for me to want to listen. And I listened. And I remember coming into this room and just sitting down with my computer and like listening to his story. And I heard his heart. And I heard that how many people's lives he was able to change through coaching. And then I saw this also him speak to his massive financial success. And until that night, I didn't know about that kind of success in the business. You know, I heard 6-figure thrown around here or there. And so I thought the top of the top of the top of the top maybe just made 6 figures. And that's a great amount of money, don't get me wrong. But I was blown away that he had like 10x'd that, you know, and that was an actual possibility. And this person, I think there was something different that night because he was real, he was live, he was speaking, and it wasn't like a YouTube video that I had found. There was something different, and I heard his heart, you know, and so he had this perfect balance of heart and hustle. And those are the 2 things I think you absolutely have to have in this business. I'm constantly like studying human behavior, like why are these people successful, and why are these rock stars that I thought were going to be elite coaches quitting and failing, you know? And I think you have to have that delicate balance of that desire, that deep-seated desire just to change the world. But I have some of those really flowery personalities and they lack the drive, you know? And Josh had both, and I saw a lot of me in him. And I have the drive. You know, I've always kind of been a balls to the wall girl in anything that I did. And so that night I made a decision. I made a decision to just, like, I felt like I was jumping off of a cliff into the biggest fears that I had ever felt in my life. You know, I had established a reputation, and, you know, I was, you know, people knew me in my town as this, you know, person that I had respect in the wellness community. And I was terrified of that being taken away, you know, in a big, big way. But I saw what Beachbody was, and I saw the people in the heart. And I just decided to say, screw it. Screw what they think, because I don't want to be the person that's going to pass up on my dreams for what I want to do in the world and what I want for my family, because I'm scared of what my neighbor's going to think. And I can remember in the beginning, I would slip back into that fear, and I would think to myself at the time, Lindsay and Amy were really big, you know, top coaches. They still are. But I remember thinking to myself, like, as I would be like typing a message and I would get really scared and I'd start getting really timid with my words. Wait a second. If I was Amy or Lindsay, would I care what this person's going to think? My desire is to help them. It is coming straight from my heart. Would I care what they think? And I would literally embody that. And I would think, no, they would just be one among thousands of people that I am helping. And if they're not ready yet, okay, like, let me move on to the next one. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean, like, you know, I'm not going to let that get to me. And I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to try to help the next person and help the next person and help the next person. And I can't let that one person take me down. And I feel like that's what limits coaches so much in the beginning. And so that's kind of this other part of the mastering your mindset about inviting, You cannot focus on the people that do not respond or say no. I had a newer coach of mine the other day screenshot me all these messages that she had sent out that had no responses. And I just like laughed. I was like, girl, mine probably looks like 10 times as bad as that. I have never gone back and looked at my message thread one time to see how many people didn't respond, because I'm talking to enough people that somebody's responding. And I am so focused on that person and so focused on changing their life and asking them questions and getting them set up and getting them in the challenge group. I am so focused on the successes that I don't have time to focus on the losses or the negatives. They aren't losses, they're just not yet. And I know we hear this all the time, but I know in the beginning for me too, it was an emotional thing to, send out a lot of invites and feel like nobody was saying yes, and go for no really shifted my mindset around that. But I also remember, because I'm very analytical and I don't necessarily like those negative feelings. Who does? So I was like, Moira, what is the formula that you need? Like, what is the formula that you need to do in order to hit Success Club no matter what every month? And I remember telling myself, okay, I can bet you it's a guaranteed fact. If I invite 300 people, I don't care if I go knock on doors, go through my Facebook friends list and cold invite everybody. If I invite 300 people, I'm going to hit Success Club. That's pretty much a guarantee. And so that's what I did, because I didn't want to feel the stress of not getting the goal. And the goal was non-negotiable at that point. And so I started inviting 300 people. It was insanity. And now I tell my team, though, I believe for me, it's a fact that if I don't invite 100 people, I'm not hitting Success Club. I have to put out 100 invites to hit Success Club every month still. One thing I've realized, you guys, now that I'm a top 10 coach, I kind of like this and I kind of hate this. I have done this the most organic, painful way you could possibly do it, meaning I've done it the old school way. I have added people to my network, developed relationships, gotten them in a free group, added value, added more value, converted them into a challenge group, planted the seed about coaching, gone out to coffee with them, maybe gotten them to sign up as a discount coach. Like, that's my whole entire organization has been built that way. I have not ever recruited 20 coaches a month. There were months last year, and I think this is really important to hear, that I recruited 4 coaches. 4. I'm not saying that's what you should do, because I'm always shooting to recruit at least 10. But there are these really organic relationships that are built slowly over time. There's trust and there's relationship built. And that's how I can also bring them into coaches and leaders or building a business, because there's a relationship there. They're invested in me, not just some random cold market person that's signing up through a link, So we have to focus on our wins. And so, yes, I totally still believe that for every 100 invites, I get 3 yeses to this day. Probably 85 of them don't respond. 15 of them, a conversation, maybe not 85, maybe 75 don't respond. But usually there's like 25 conversations going back and forth, and then 3 of them end up signing up. Yes, my Success Club numbers are higher than 6. They're usually 30, 40, 50. But, when you're inviting 100 people a month, you have tons of follow-ups. You have tons of people in your pipeline. On your 100 invites, do you build relationships first? Absolutely. I always build relationships first. However, sometimes I do like the whole oh my gosh, girl, I got to ask, have you ever thought about coaching? And then what happens there is, a lot of times they're like, oh, the Antichrist, stay away. And I build the relationship. I forget the question, but they know that I'm not being some fishy, butter them up kind of person and then going in for the kill with now that we're besties, have you ever thought about coaching? Sometimes I think it's better to just be like, girl, why aren't you coaching? And then the conversation starts. They tell me they're not interested, but I continue the relationship. One of my coaches, Lauren Maniscalco, she's one of my just dear diamond coaches. Same thing. I think I asked her right off the bat. She was like, no. God, you're a Beachbody coach, not for me. But we developed a real friendship over social media for a year. I kept checking in on her because she was on my dream team, I just kept checking in on her, getting to know her. You know, we developed a very real relationship. And one day I sent her the 18th follow-up, and a lot of them she ghosted. But the 18th follow-up or so, she responded, "You got me, I'm in. What do I need to do?" And I was like, yes! You know, and I'm focusing on the win. I'm not focusing on the 75 people that didn't respond to me that morning. I'm focused on the wins, and I'm so fired up. I'm so fired up. I mean, this is a whole nother tangent, but you guys, like, the second you feel negativity in any way, even if I'm irritated with my children, my business goes out the window. I am such a big believer in energy. What you feel, you attract into your life. And you guys might be like, oh gosh, she's so hippy dippy, but I am and I'm not. The universe totally hears what you feel. It does not hear what you say. And I went live on my like page today, and I was just talking about, you know, hitting 15 star. And I was like, my whole topic on the video was, you get what you believe. You do not get what you want. And there are so many people I try to help mentor every single day. And they want diamond. They want star diamond. They want elite. But they don't believe it for themselves. And you guys, you get what you believe. You do not get what you want in life. And so you have to do something to shift your belief. Go watch that like page video, and I give you some tips on that, because that's not what we're here for. But you guys, we have a great quote on our team, and I don't know where I heard this, but my team's like, that's the best thing ever. And we say it all the time: bless and release. Bless and release. You know, I can't tell you how many times on a thread, or they know not to bring any negativity into my team page, but on a thread, somebody will be like, oh my God, this person is like, she could totally crush coaching and she just won't do it. And I'm like, bless and release, move on. Like, stop. That's negativity. You're just dragging your business down in that instant. The second you are focused on anything negative, like, first of all, your heart's gone. Like, yeah, you might say like, no, I really want to help them, and I just know that they could be a good coach. But there is no place for anger because somebody is not doing what you want them to do. They're just not ready. My coach, Meredith, today, she was like, I went back and I searched my accountability group to see how many times you posted. I posted 18 times in a year and a half. 18 times in a year and a half. She's like, you never posted a picture. You were always like, does anyone else struggling? It was just like a cry for help. I was a horrible challenger. I never did you guys, I posted 18 times in 18 months as a challenger. So I also have complete, like, I don't have a care in the world when my challengers aren't engaged. Yes, I try to engage them. I do what I can, but that's their side of the street. That's not my side of the street. And I know, because Meredith changed my life. I was just a fly on the wall, and I was watching the whole time. And I was being reeled in, and she didn't have a clue. I didn't have a clue what was happening, you know? So you just never know. And being angry because somebody's not doing what you want them to do, or signing up when you want them to sign up, is just not the way this business works. One of the things I always say too is, you know, it's so important to hit Success Club early, because I see it over and over again. There's kind of two thoughts on that. Coaches that are struggling to hit Success Club on the 30th, I wouldn't do this business, you guys. I wouldn't do what they do. It's not fun. This business gets really not fun really quick, because you need people. And nobody wants that feeling coming to them when you're trying to onboard them. I don't need anyone to sign up, you know, and I've hit my numbers early enough that when someone comes to me, it is very real about trying to meet them where they're at in their life, and if they're ready, and if they're willing. And it just comes from my best interest is their best interest, you know? This is, you know, this whole bless and release thing. One of my favorite quotes from The Go-Giver, and I feel like The Go-Giver by Bob Burg, I think, it was one of the first books I read, and it was just such a, it was such like a truth bomb, you know, like I just resonated with everything in it. And he says, your true worth is measured in how much more you give in value than you receive in payment. And I really took that on as a new coach. I really believed, and still believe to this day, if I just try to help as many people as I can, whether it's through my social media posts. I mean, I have people reach out to me like, I'm really struggling. Can you meet me for a cup of coffee? I have gone and met with somebody for a cup of coffee for 2 hours and never tried to get them to sign up for my challenge group. I mean, I've encouraged them, and if they're not ready, they're not ready. I'm not pissed because I spent 2 hours with a stranger at a coffee shop. If I try to give the world all the value that I can, and I lead with that, the success is going to come. You can't get caught up in the numbers and the income and the challengers and the signups and what your team is doing. Just keep leading with trying to help as many people as you can. So let me shift here and talk to you about a little bit of your mindset around inviting to the coach opportunity. And this was something that I kind of came in with, I was naive. I didn't know a lot when I got here, and I just kind of put my head down and got to work. And I remember my very first coach. So I signed her up, and then I started signing up, my challengers started converting to coaches just organically because they were having a lot of success and they were super fired up. And I was super fired up. And I think that alone could just end the call right there. It was my energy. I was so passionate. I was so freaking excited about this, and that's contagious. And so people just started signing up as coaches. And this one coach who was trying to work the business she just asked me one day, she's like, well, how are you getting people to sign up? Like, what do you say to them? And I was like, well, what do you mean? And she was like, well, like you're trying to get them to like sign up under you so you can like make money. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? Like, I've never thought about that this way. That's just never crossed my mind. And the fact that that's crossing your mind is why you're not signing up coaches. Again, it is totally my best interest at heart. Coaching is what transformed me. I told you I was the world's worst challenger, and I struggled and struggled and struggled as a challenger. So note to self, it just could happen that your most potential badasses in your challenge group are the ones that are failing right now. Because I was the failure in Meredith's challenge group. I was the one that couldn't get it together. And she kept saying to me, I really think you need to sign up as a coach, Moira, because it's like the ultimate accountability. And I thought she was insane because I was not coach material. I was like overeating, getting back on the wagon, overeating, getting back on the wagon. I was kind of in a downward spiral. But she kept encouraging me. She kept saying, that was my story. She had the same story. She said, Moira, I struggled and struggled and struggled. And when I all of a sudden, she's like, I know this doesn't make sense to you because you think you're the furthest thing from a coach. But what's going to help you is having to show up for other people. And I bet that everything is going to change for you when you have to show up for other people. And I probably just sat silent and didn't say anything, but my wheels were turning because somewhere deep down, I knew about myself. As much as I don't want to admit it, I will let myself down every day of the week. I will not show up for me every day of the week. Now, I might show up for myself for 3 or 4 days, and then I fall off. But when I have to show up for other people, I will never let them down. I will never not show up. And so that's why I signed up as a coach. It was totally selfish reasons. It was to help me. I didn't really have that like big desire to help. I mean, I always had that desire to help other people, but at that point in my life, I needed to help myself. And so I signed up as a coach and I asked my 2 best friends to join me, and everything changed. Everything changed. And so because I have that story, because coaching is what changed my life, I have such a deep desire to give the gift of coaching to other people. And what I truly believe to the depths of my soul is that coaching has been like the silver platter. There was a moment when probably around that time I got on that Josh Spencer call, that I kind of had that moment of clarity where I realized, I think that this is like, quote unquote, the opportunity of my lifetime. This is the opportunity, and it's in my lap, to earn all the income I ever want to earn, to do whatever I want to do with building a business, to help as many people as I want to help, to step up on a platform and have a voice, to brand whatever I want to brand, this is it. It's not some silly coaching little gig. You know, I had owned 2 businesses, you guys, and I don't know, some of you probably have heard my talk at leadership. I had owned 2 businesses where I had taken out, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to open up a business, to, you know, put up an $80,000 website, to deal with all the legal fees, to employ the employees, to pay the accountant, to get all the legal documents drafted. This was $140. And that's why I scoffed it off. You know, it wasn't $140,000 like the other businesses. But what I realized as I kept going was like, holy shit, this is insane. Like, this is insane. I just spent $140, which I didn't pay out. That was for me. That was for my challenge pack. And I have the opportunity right in front of me to earn 6 figures, you know, times whatever. I mean, my income right now is like unfathomable to me. I used to sit in this room right here used to be when I sold my Pilates studio and I started working from home because I had babies. I used to sit in this room with my back against the wall teaching Pilates and just think all day long, how can I earn $500 a week doing something I love? $500 a week. I got to figure out how to make $500 a week. You guys, like what I'm earning now doing this, living a super on fire, wake up every day, super excited. I mean, you guys, like, oh, we're going to Riviera Maya. Oh, we get to go to Indianapolis. Oh, I got to like go out to Sundance and ski with Jeff Hill. Like, what is happening? Like, this is insane. And that's the opportunity that you are giving people when you talk to them about coaching. So don't go to them timidly. Don't go to them feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to tiptoe into this because they're going to think I'm trying to sign them up for some pyramid scheme. Like, no, be bold. Be bold and live with conviction and know that you are giving somebody the opportunity. Like, I get to be that person. I get to be that person that gives them the opportunity that can change their grandchildren's lives. That's what you have in your hand. That's insane. It's insane. So you have to know what your beliefs are around it and have the right, you have to shift your story if you need to shift your story. You know, people aren't going to buy products. They never do. People buy feelings and passion. And I've had so many of my diamond coaches. It's kind of funny because, again, people used to ask me like, well, what do you say? Because I'm kind of queen of the coffee date. Like, I love going out to coffee because I love to get out of my house and get off my computer and my phone. And people are like, what do you say to people? And I'm like, I don't know. I just like do, you know, like this. I just get really excited. And so many of my coaches are like, I didn't even know what I was signing up for. I was just like, I wanted what she had. And that's what you have to give people, is that gift of how they're going to feel. Not these products or not these containers or not, you know, like make sure you're talking about, I mean, really when I go for a coach opportunity coffee date, I just tell them my story and I ask them questions and I just want to get to know them. I love developing relationships. Like that's what fills my soul. You know, that's what fills my soul. Yeah, I got this like, supposedly, I won't believe it until it happens, ridiculous bonus today. You know, that was something I was shooting for. I'm income driven. But, you know, flowers, balloons, like all this stuff, none of that matters. My coaches made this video. I just put it up on my Facebook. And I was literally like, they're like, we're going to record it when she watches it. I'm like, oh, great. You're going to record me like totally ugly crying. Because that's all that really matters to me, is that I'm able to change people's lives on a really big level. And you're giving someone that opportunity to do work that they didn't even know that they were capable of. And you get to be the person that believes in them. And that's what I really think that, you know, was done for me and what I get to do for other people. And people say, oh, you're like a great leader. And I'm like, I don't think I'm a great leader. I think I just believe in people. I believe in people and I encourage the heck out of them. Because this is possible for anybody. And that's the other shift in your story, you guys, If you're telling your new coaches like, well, you're going to have to like try to get to Emerald and it's 2 coaches. I know. And you might have to like sign up your spouse. And like, I know that gets a little weird. No, you're just like, you get to Emerald, you can do it tonight. You just sign up, you know, your spouse and a friend and you're at Emerald. And then the next thing is Diamond. And, you know, Diamond's a decision. Most people get there in 60 or 90 days. Some people take longer, but you absolutely don't have to. It's way more painful to take longer. It's much easier to build this business quickly. This is what Diamond is. You know, you make your spouse an Emerald, you find 1 builder. That's it. You can sign up your challengers as coaches. Diamond is 1 person that wants to work the business. That's all you need to do. You know, that's it. And so you have to make sure what you know your story. And I had a lot of long talks about this today. I feel like I'm going off on so many tangents. But I had a lot of conversations today around this idea. I was talking to, oh my gosh, I'm going to forget her name. Holly Hillier and Ashley, why am I forgetting her last name? Lachlan. They're like ridiculous ballers. I mean, Holly Hillier just advanced 7 diamonds already this year. Like, what? I've not advanced 7 diamonds. And so I'm talking to them. And the funny thing is they're like, well, we just came back and told our teams what you said. I was like, really? Because that's not happening on my team. But what they told them was that it's not a big deal to get to diamond. You know, it's just not. And so you have to instill that belief and you have to pass that story on to your coaches. If your coaches think it's really hard to get to diamond, it's going to be really hard for them to get to diamond. We get what we believe. We don't get what we want. And so the conversation that I was having today is that I truly believe and have believed this from day one. This is the most fun, exciting, life-giving work that I've ever done in my whole entire life. It is like ridiculous. And it wasn't that hard to get to diamond. Like I did the work. I just did what I was told to do and I got to diamond. Like I checked all the boxes off on my business activity tracker. I posted 3 times a day. I invited X amount of people every single day. All I did was check the boxes every single day. And the difference I think between success is doing all the things all the time and not really having success is doing some of the things some of the times. You know, I also heard, and I think it's just so true, is that the difference between the really successful, I think it was Lindsay Matway on the National Wake Up Call, between people that have a lot of success in this business and people that don't, is the people that are really successful work the business when they don't want to work the business. You know, and I had that really very real experience on Monday. I had to put my chocolate lab down on this past weekend, which was like my baby. And I was a mess. And I had like eaten a ton of sugar on Sunday because I was just trying to numb my emotions. And I woke up Monday morning in like the biggest funk. I felt literally food hungover, if anyone knows what that is. Like foggy, I had a headache, I was just irritable and angry. And I got on my team power hour at 9:30. I got on a GSR at 10:30. I got on the National Wake Up Call at 11. I got on my mastermind call at 12. I got off my mastermind early to do a Q&A session and a training session at 12:30. I had to meet somebody at 2 o'clock for a coffee date. And it was 2:30 when I left that coffee date that light bulb went off. And I thought, this is the difference. I did not want to work my business. And I had every right and every encouragement in the world for people to say, take the day off, take some time. You need to rest. You need to give yourself grace. But it is habit now. I wake up and do all the things. I don't want to do all the things every day, but I do it. And when you do it long enough, it becomes habit. And it just becomes your way of life. And I'm not saying work yourself into the ground every single second of every single day. I gave myself plenty of grace over the weekend and plenty of space. I knew it was coming. You know, I prepped for that. And there was a lot of self-care. But Monday I had to get up and get back to work. And that's what successful people do. So make sure that you are leading with that passion and that inspiration. You know, and ask yourself, kind of to wrap up this idea of like mindset, what your limiting beliefs are, because we all have them. I'm a huge Tony Robbins fan. And I know when I got here, for those of you that are new or you're coaches and you can't get it up and off the ground, I had all the same limiting beliefs. Like, I don't really have the time to do this because I've got this other stuff going on and I've got 2 little kids. Well, Melanie Mitro built her business during nap time. and then it was like, well, I don't really have the background that I think I need. Amy Silverman was a cocktail waitress. I'm really introverted. I don't really like to be in the limelight. I hate the limelight. Melanie Mitro hates the limelight. I didn't really, you might feel like you don't have a network. You don't know lots of people. I'm not on the right team. How many of us have thought that? If I was only on this team, if I was only on that team. There's no excuses, you guys. Those are just limiting beliefs that you are telling yourself to shoot yourself in the foot. You're just cutting off your chances of success. The moment you think anything is, I don't, I can't, I don't have, I'm not, any of those things are just limiting beliefs that are only hurting you. Anyone can be successful in this business. Anyone. And I feel like I didn't finish that that topic earlier just a second ago when I was talking about the conversations that I was having today. It is my belief that this is the opportunity of a lifetime and that this is 100% possible for anybody. You guys, this is not rocket science. Anybody can do this. Anybody can become a diamond coach in 60 or 90 days. So if my belief is that, my belief from day one was well, why in the world would it be, I am not special. And maybe that's where my, I've always struggled with self-esteem my whole life. And I think maybe that's where this actually works for me because I don't think I've done anything special. I filled out my business activity tracker. That's what I did to become a diamond coach. That's all I did. So I 100% believe that anybody could do this. And I 100% believe that everyone should want to do this. Who wouldn't want to be their healthiest? Who wouldn't want to have a tribe of people that are the most uplifting, inspiring people around them? Who wouldn't want to go on badass success club trips? Who wouldn't want to make, income on the side? That should be every human being that walks on the planet. So why in the world would it be hard to find 15 of those? That's the mindset I've had from day one. Why in the world would it be hard to find 15 people? I mean, I kind of thought when I came in here superstar diamond, I was like, oh, Melanie Mitchell probably has 200 diamonds. Well, she probably does. But that's what I thought. I thought the people at the top had hundreds of diamond coaches. The fact that I've achieved this pinnacle of success and I have 15 diamonds, I'm should that really be that hard? But I think that's why that belief works for me. If I thought it was the hardest thing in the whole entire world and I'm probably never going to get there because oh my gosh, just getting 2 stars, ridiculous. I get what I believe. If I believe getting to 2 stars is ridiculously hard, it's going to be ridiculously hard. Whatever your story is and whatever your beliefs are, that's your life. That's your experience in this world. And, going back to those limiting beliefs, they say comparison is the thief of joy. I really believe it's the thief of your dreams. I mean, it will take your dreams from you just like that. And I still get, you guys, here's the irony of being successful. Every time you kind of step up the ladder of success within Beachbody, you're around way more successful people. So I fall into that comparison game every day of the week. How do you think I feel when I'm hey, Holly, let's hop on a call. How's your business going? And she's like, well, I reckon we had 7 diamonds. I'm I'm such a freaking failure. I suck. That's right where I go. But then I catch myself really quick. And I'm oh, no. Do not focus on your comparison game. Focus on my wins. Focus on my wins. And I will end with this. And this has been super powerful for me. And again, a little hippy dippy. But I was just reading this book and they talked about keeping, I've kept gratitude journals for the last 20 years. I'm a really big believer in starting your day with gratitude and focusing on gratitude and all that comes with that. And I've read 1,000 gratitude books and done it in my challenge groups. But it started to lose its luster a little bit for me, meaning it wasn't working for me as much. I couldn't really get to that good feeling place with my gratitude because I just think it was just old hat. And so I needed to shift it a little bit because I've got to feel that feeling. I've got to get that excitement all the time. And so this book suggested to keep what they call a book of proof. And I took out a journal like one that had been somewhat used, because don't we all have 20 journals with like 4 pages written in them? And I grabbed one off the shelf. Don't overthink things. Just act. Just take action. I grabbed one and I wrote Book of Proof with a Sharpie on the front. And I started to write every single teeny tiny win in that book. I had the worst month in coaching that I've ever had in February. February was worse than my month 1 or 2 or 3 in the business. You guys, I finished number 5 in the network. I'm a top 10 Beachbody coach. People are supposed to start coming to me. Guess what? That doesn't happen. Nobody was coming to me. It was the worst month, Success Club point wise, recruit wise, morale wise. I was going down and I had to shift something. And so I started to keep this book of proof. And just like I'm preaching to the choir here, I'm, hearing myself say this is good. But when I say focus on the wins, that's what I got back to in a very real way, a tangible way. And so when I would get an email from somebody, I would write it in the book of proof. When I would get a message from a challenger saying thank you, I'd write it in the book of proof. When I would get a coach that put 2 Success Club points on the board, I'd write it in the book of proof. Every teeny tiny win. I started a conversation with somebody that I've been trying to get for a year. I wrote it down. She emailed me back. I wrote that one down. She asked me about the challenge group. I wrote that down. And so you guys, I can open up that book of proof and I can see there's probably like 3 to 5 wins a day, the littlest things. But you look back on just when I got 3 days into it and I saw 3 pages of win after 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 win, I was on fire. And I felt like my business was thriving. And I shifted into that energy of winning and running again and being successful. And March has been the most phenomenal month ever for me. And not just like business, but balance, freedom, a little bit of balance, which doesn't happen that often in my life. So again, don't ever, and this is a Tony Robbins thing too, don't ever, he always says, don't ever leave the moment of inspiration without taking action. Like go in the other room and pick up your journal right now and write book of proof on it. Do something, and my coach used to tell me this too, do something after every single national wake-up call, after every single team call, after every single training call, take one action. Because you guys, we can get on 50 calls and never implement anything. And that's a waste of 50 hours of your life. You have to take action. You have to implement. So that's it. I'm going to wrap up there, girl.
What do you mean that's it? I have 2.5 pages of notes. I have my notebook that I'm about to do my book of proof on. That was gold and amazing. And I know that the team is going to be buzzing. Like, I already have people banging down my door for the recording because a lot of our coaches catch the recording.
Yeah, sure.
Kids and stuff at night. But thank you so much. That was incredible, and really are such a fresh air to the network. Oh, we have someone yapping in the background. Hold on, that's fine.
Okay.
Let's see. Just sometimes we'll have that happen, and then they'll say something that they regret because they don't know that they're. There we go. So thank you so much. It's awesome. It's cool to see the people who've been around for 6+ years that are still keeping the business alive, but it's different to see someone come in and make those decisions along the way and just understand the value of mindset in the process, because I think sometimes we want like, oh, just tell me, do A, B, C, and I'll get this result. Well, if you're not coupling that action with the right way of thinking and the right vision for where you're taking things, at some point the floor is going to give out on you. So that was the perfect combo of motivation and then the kick in the butt to go actually take some action. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Absolutely. My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
And congrats again to you and your team.
Thank you. Thanks so much. It's been a very fun day. Definitely.
Yeah, Enjoy it. Keep celebrating it. And thank you everyone who came on tonight. I appreciate all you guys. And the recording will be up tomorrow in case anyone else wants to watch it a second time through and make sure they didn't miss anything. All right. See you guys.
Thanks, girl.
Bye.
Bye.